Hello everyone, this is Ali Shafari. So in this video, we will take a tour to GA4 or Google Analytics 4 to be more familiar with sections and reports. So when we have a question, when we want to check out a specific part of data, we know where to go. All right, so let's get to it. We'll start from the home section and we'll start from top to bottom. In the header section, just like the universal version, we have the section where we can change the account and property. There are no views over here, but we have something called data streams, which we will talk about it later. In this search box, if you search something, it will give you different result. This type of result will give you direct answer, and the engagement rate for this period is 80%, above 80%. This kind of actual result with question mark beside it, it will direct you to Google Analytics documents, and you can check them out. And this type of result will direct you to reports, which you can see the engagement rate in these reports. On the top right of the home section, we have other Google services, we have help menu, and we have the start tour section. And over here you can change your Gmail. The rest of the actually home section is containing a different report overview of different reports, which if you click on the right bottom of it, you will go to that report. For example, here you have total user, event count, and engaged session, which is changeable, and you can change by just click on this small arrow over here, and you can actually choose different metrics like views and anything else. You can also check the time frame over here. You can change it to 28 days or anything else, depending on what you're looking for. On the right over here, before that, we have something here called unsampled card or threshold, which is applied here. The data of the report is unsampled when the amount of data is reasonable. If it's more than 500,000 sessions, the data will be sampled and just bunch of the data will be shown here. There is other case that when the data is so small that Google Analytics worrying about identifying the property of users like demographic and other things, it will limit it, and it just like this report over here, it will be threshold applied. And right here we have the user's source. This is the number of users and this is the source. By the way, if you want to get more information about Google Analytics 4 dimension and metrics, please check out the document. I will leave the link in the description. This section, you have the recent access section. Next, you have the session by session medium. These are the medium of the session and these are the number of session, and here it's the change that happened. For example, from organic we have around 7,000 users, which is 8% decreased comparing to previous period. We have the returning user on the geo map. We have the country and number of returning user and the percentage. Here we have the views of page title and screen classes, as you can see. Below here we have the insight section, which is actually kind of related to AI model of GA4, and this is for you to check out different things. For example, let's say based on your data, the algorithm predicted that you had to have some kind of normal traffic or session or user or different things, but when it's not normal, it will give you a hint over here. For example, event count per user was 178% higher than average. This average means the average of your data. So when it's higher, it will, when it's much higher or much lower, it will give you a hint. So it's quite useful. All right, so the home section is actually finished, and let's go to the next section. All right, guys, let's take a look at the next section, which is our report section. If we click on it, this section is containing other sections like our report snapshot, real-time acquisition report, engagement, monetization, retention, demographics, tech, and library, which we can edit other reports over there. All right, in report snapshot, we are going to take a look at it, and it actually contains bunch of overview of dimension, metrics, and reports. So it's not anything special. As you can see, we have user, new user, and be aware that you can't change anything here like we could change in home section. So we have user, new user, engage, average engagement time, total revenue, and the online user in past 30 minutes and their country. There's actually a nice question to let you know what this report will give you. Where do your new users come from? What are your top campaigns? Maybe how active users trending? How well do your user return to your site? And bunch of other things. So in the report snapshot, it's quite similar to home section. We have the users by country. We have the active users for 1 day, 7 day, and 30 day. You have the cohort section, which is cohort on acquisition date. Users came 100% of course for the first week, but among these users only 4% came next week, 2% the week after that, and it goes to the end. And here we have the page titles and the number of views. It's not a session, it's not user, it's just number of view. And we have the event name here, number of event count, which it's not per user. And we have conversion here, which we'll talk about later. And we have item purchase. This is related to e-commerce tracking if you activated using tag manager. So next we have the real-time report, which is quite obvious. What is it? We have the ad comparison here, and we have the comparison edit here. We can share this report, and we have something else called view user snapshot. So it randomly shows some of the user activity, and it's total random. It's not based on anything. For example, we have the user location here. We have the app version if it was an application. We have the events that occurred and the time, and if we click on this, the next one will appear. As you can see, this user, first it was a page view, then user engagement, scroll, item view, and etc. So you get the point. All right, let's come back to real-time report. So just like the previous section, we have the number of users in the past 30 minutes, and we have them, and we have the users by desktop and mobile percentage. We have the user on the geo map. As you can see, it's actually clickable. If you click on it, it will per that part of Word report to rest of the report. So if I simply close this, it will come back, but you got the point. For you can zoom in. For example, you want to click on Japan, and you can check out the number of users in Japan comparing to the rest of the data, and you can came back to the normal version, the normal report. Below we have number of users by source online right now, users by audience. If you have audience, because I'm using demo account, so it has some of the settings that you might do it yourself. So it have like non-purchaser, engaged user, page view plus more than 8, meaning probably those users who visited more than 8 pages. We have the page titles over here. Right now, for the 8 user are viewing home section, and we have same thing for the page view on event name, this and other actual events. We have the conversion by event name. So you got the point. This part of the section, it's real time right now, so it's actually from previous 30 minutes to right now, so you can check out what users are checking on your website. So next we're going to take a look at acquisition report. Just like report, snapshot, and home, we are going to take a look at overview of metrics, dimension, and reports of acquisition area. So as you can see, we have the number of new users, and just like previous section, we have the ad comparison section, the time frame, and insights, share this report, and other things that we already covered. So we have the new users by first user default channel grouping, meaning these channel grouping were responsible for the users who came to our site for the first time. And session by session default channel grouping, you can change this thing over here. As you can see, you can change the new user, you can change the session, and session Google Ads campaign, if you had, you can check them out. And sorry, that was my phone, I forgot to silence it. And you have the lifetime value section. As you can see, over the 120 days, it's not so much accurate and you really can't count on it, but it has something to tell you. In user acquisition and traffic acquisition, the focus is different. On user acquisition section, the focus is on the user, what channel brought the user for the first time. We have the number of new user, engaged session, engagement rate, engaged session per user, average engagement time, event count, conversion, and that's it. If you have no idea about what is this dimension or metrics, you have to check out the document, which I will leave the link in the description. In traffic acquisition section, we have the chart over here, and if you go to the chart, you can check out each section separately too. It goes same for the user by session default channel grouping, and this is the user by session default channel grouping over time. So in the report, as you can see, we have the session default channel grouping. Here we had, I want to compare these reports together. As you can see here, we had the first, let's click on it, first user default channel grouping. So it's focusing on the channel who brought the user, but here we are focusing on the traffic, not the user itself. So the session channel grouping is the default dimension here, but you can change it. As you can see, in both reports we can add second dimension. It could be depending on what you want to check out, but it could be anything, and it's pretty much that's it for the acquisition reports. The point of acquisition report. Oh, one more thing. The reports have something that we didn't have in previous reports, which is the filter section. If we click on the filter section, we can filter the report by anything. For example, by maybe host name, and for example, I want to be that. So this report will filter out. So there's nothing the floating, but the point is you can filter your report maybe by page URL. So you want to check out the report section for this specific URL. So yeah, it's nothing, it's empty too, but you got the point. We can filter the report over here, and it's quite useful. Engagement report. So in the overview, just like overview section of previous reports, we have dimension, metrics, and reports overview of the engagement section. It's quite same thing. We had the comparison section, the time frame, and everything else is the same. We have average engagement time, engaged session per user. We have average engagement time per session. We have user online last 30 minutes in top page and the screens, and we have number of views, event counts, and we have event count by event name. We have the number of views by page title and screen class, user activity over time, 30 days, 7 days, and 1 day. We have user stickiness metrics, which is quite useful for applications, but it could be useful for websites too. So that's all. Let's drill down in reports. First one is events. An event, just like other section reports, we have the filter thing added here. We have the event count by event name over time, and we have event count by event name comparing to each other. If you hold your mouse on any of this, you can see them separately on the chart. If you want to see number of event counts, you can hold your mouse on the chart, and it's got same thing here. Go down, we have number of actual event counts over here, total user, event count per user, and total revenue. And these are the name of the events, and you can't really change this, but you can add second dimension, maybe, I don't know, first user source. You can see the source of that event. So that's it. Let's go to conversion report. In conversion report, we have same thing as we had in event section, but instead of events, we have conversion. So if you don't have any idea what is the difference between events and conversion, there is a video that I have talked about the events in GA4, and I will put the link in the description, and I will talk about conversion in my next video. Alright, so these are the event names, and these are conversion coming from that event name. So depending what you choose to count as a conversion, but let's say most of the time it's a purchase, sign up, or something like that. So these events led to conversion this number of time, total user and total revenue, as you can see. Next, we have pages and screens. It's about those pages who got more views, more user, views per user, average engagement time, event count. You can see the page pass here. You can change it to other things like content group or anything else. You can see the average engagement time over here, and it's quite useful. The rest is quite same. The chart is a number of views by page pass and screens, just like previous charts. You can see to the chart, and it's quite helpful depending on what you're looking for. Next, we have landing pages, those pages that users start its journey from it. So let's go down. All right, we have the landing page over here. The page pass, actually, we have number of sessions, users, new users, average engagement time per session, conversion, and total revenue. All right, so these all are the engagement section report. Next, monetization section. In overview section, we have total revenue, purchase revenue, total ad revenue in this chart. And this point over here, it's something that is anomaly and spike in combined revenue, and these are has been done by the AI of GA4, which I talked about in the first section, in the home section. We have total purchase. We have first purchaser. You can hold your mouse over here to see what is it. And we have average purchase revenue per user. We have item purchase by item name, number of item purchase and its name. We have item purchase by item list name. We have item view in promotion. We have purchase revenue by order coupon, and these sections is like what is your revenue from in-app, what is your revenue per ad unit. You don't have to have all this, just try to memorize what section is actually showing to you and what section will be important to you later. So you don't have to learn it right now, you have to just memorize it and to know that which section will give you what data. All right, next we have e-commerce purchases, sorry, and we have the filter thing again here. We have the item viewed by item name over time. Be aware that you have to enable e-commerce tracking. You could use data layer and GTM or Google Tag Manager, which I will create a video about it, but you just have to know that. We will talk about it later. And item view and item added to cart by name, as you can see, item name here, item viewed, item added to cart, item purchase. It could really create a funnel report in GA4 in exploration section, which I will talk about later, and in Google Looker Studio or Previous Data Studio. And we have in-app purchase report. Let's take a look at it. Don't have any data because this actually property doesn't include apps, so it doesn't matter, but if you have, you can check it here. Publisher ads, nothing here too, no ads here. You have user purchase journey, quite important actually. This report it's a closed funnel, as you can see. Number of session start here, view product, add to cart, begin checkout, and purchase. You can see the percentage of each in the bottom, and you can see the report based on device category below it. All right, so that is the report for monetization. In retention section, we can see the number of new user and returning user over time, and we have user retention by cohort. So if you hold your mouse on the chart, first day, 7 day, and 30 days. So like you could analyze it like this. So first day 5%, after 1 day, after 7 day less than 1%, and after 30 days no one came back. So this is user engagement by cohorts. This is in the time version. So first day 1 minute, and 7 day and 30 days nothing. So it could be interesting, but not necessarily you have to use all these reports. User engagement and user retention, we have lifetime value, which we talked about later. So that is the retention section. The most important part is the number of returning user over here, which you can use for your retention rate in your website or application. We already covered the different sections of reports, and now we are going to take a look at user, which is it's included demographic reports and tech reports. So starting by demographic reports, if you click on overview right over here, just like previous sections, you have the time period here, you have the ad comparison here, and different things. As you can see, we have the number of user, new user, and returning user. You have the option to choose any of these. on the geo map by the country. So the number of user over here and the number and the countries here. We have the number of users in last 30 minutes over here. Again, we have number of user by city. Over here we have users by gender. As you can see, we have users by interest right over here. Going on, we have users by age, and you can see the comparison, and you have the user by language. So if we go to demographic details, you have the chart, and you have the line chart, which is users by country over time. Sorry, that was my phone. Let's silence it. All right, so you have user by country over time. So if, for example, go to the chart and hold your mouse on any of these, you can see them separately, just like previous sections. You have the country comparing to each other, and we have the table over here. In the table, you can change the dimension here, the primary dimension here, to country, region, city, language, age, gender, and interest. And you can add a secondary dimension to just like the previous reports. We have users, new users, engaged session, engagement rate, engaged session per user, average engagement time, event count, conversion, and total revenue. And next, let's take a look at the text section. In the tech overview, we have users by platform. So I have changed the property to GA Florid because it has both app and web data stream. So as you can see, users by platform, most of the users are using Android and also iOS, and we have some users from web too. So we have the number of total users in last 30 minutes and separated by the platforms. Going on, we have the users by operating system: Android, iOS, Windows, Macintosh, Chrome OS, Linux, and BlackBerry. Right over here, we have user by platform / device category, and we have the user by browser. You can compare it together. You have the device category right over here, and we have the screen resolution users using. So as you can see right here, most of the users are using this screen resolution. And we have the app version. If you have the app data stream added to your GA4, we have latest app release overview and the version and the status. You have the app stability overview, and that's all. Oh, and we have the device model used by users. As you can see right here, we have the iPhone 11 more than others, and that is all for the overview. So if you go to tech details, just like demographic detail, we have a line chart over here and a bar chart over here, comparing the user's browser over time and together. So we have the table over here. We can change the dimension, primary dimension, from browser to device category, device model, screen resolution, app version, platform, OS version, platform, and device category, operating system, and OS with version. And also, just like previous versions, we can add the secondary dimension right over here. All right, so that's all for the demographic and text sections. We are going to take a look at exploration section. In this section, you will learn how to work with each of these reports because they are quite same, and you will learn how to create more drill down reports. All right, so if we start with freeform, the report has two sections: the setting of the section and the output. You have the tab setting and variables. Here we have the name of the report, which you can change it to find it easier in your list. We have the date here. We have the segments, dimensions, and metrics. So if you click on the plus sign over here, either you can create segment, which we'll talk about later, or you can choose from existing segments. Here we have for the same thing for the dimension. Also you can create here, but you can use the existing dimension. Like for example, if I search for, that's a metric, search for page, you can add any of these to the report. And here, if we search for session, we can see bunch of actually metrics. Okay, so after that, in the tab setting, first of all, we are in a freeform actually template, and you can change it to cohort, funnel, segment overlap, past exploration, or user lifetime. And you can visualize by table, donut chart, line chart, scatter plot, bar chart, or geomap. All right, we have to put the dimension in rows and columns if you want to, and put the metrics in the values, as you can see. Other thing is for the tables, you can check out the different type of cell type. This is bar chart, and this is plain text, and this is a heat map. Also, you can add filter here based on the things that you already added here. You can use the nested row, which is quite helpful depending on the reports. And you can use, it doesn't really work here, but it gives you a more detailed report. You can start from which row and how many rows could be shown in the report, and you can add the segment over here. So these are the settings, and quite same for other types of what is called here technique. You can add tab here, and the tab could be anything, and then you can save this report and check it out on the list. You can actually here, because I'm in Google Analytics demo version, I can't share it, but you can share this report with others, but they really can't edit anything. They have to make a copy and edit it, and they share it to you again. So this is the thing that you can do with the Explore section. So let's check out one more technique here. For example, maybe here, like funnel exploration. Let's start from scratch. That way the setting is here. The techniques are here too. You can check it out as I told you. Okay, if I start for the funnel exploration, you can see that it's already created here. You can change the dimensions, metric, and the steps. So if you click on the pen here, you can edit the steps over here and apply it, and you can see the detailed version of the funnel right over here. And if, for example, let's say I remove this, you can see the number of user over here and the conversion rate for each step. It's quite helpful. Let's head back to Explore section. We have the reports right over here, so the name, the owner, and different things. So basically that is what you can do. The different types of these techniques are having quite different actually setting, but it's not so much different. You can work with it. So the purpose of this video is to let you be more familiar with the GA dashboard. I will be launching another video specifically for Explore section, but right now we're going to check out the next section, which is the advertising section. All right, so in the advertising section, we'll talk about more about conversion, revenue, and this kind of stuff. So in advertising snapshot, First of all, we have to decide on what type of conversion we want to check out. We want to check out all based on all the conversion, or just, for example, a specific conversion like purchase. So because of the data, the reports will be based on this setting that you just choose. So let's, for example, choose purchase. And all right, we have the conversion by default channel grouping here. We have the insights over here. We have the conversion path, which we'll talk about it more completely later. And this is it for the advertising snapshot. So when we go to channel, all the channels in performance section, we have conversion by default channel grouping over time, and we have the conversion, actually comparing to we have the conversion by default channel grouping and comparing to each other. And we have the table right over here. We have the number of conversion, ad cost, cost per conversion, total revenue, and return on ad spend. And we can choose from these dimensions. If we connect our Google Ads account to GA4, the data will be much more accurate. In attribution section, first of all, if you don't have any idea about attribution, make sure to read about it. But attribution will let you actually attribute credits to different channels, and based on what attribution model you choose, you will be credit different channel differently. For example, right here, if you click on here, you can see that it's last click. It means last non-direct click will be credited as the conversion channel. For example, direct has more than 600 conversion based of this type of actually a conversion model. But right here, we have different actually attribution model, which is data driven. Let's change it to first click. And you can see that it's quite different. For example, for referral, if the last click is 118 and the first click is 97. So if we want to attribute all the credit to the first channel, the referral will get 97. But if you want to credit, if you want to attribute the credit to the last channel, the referral will get 118. So we can say that this channel will help us actually in the last channel more effectively. All right. Okay, so next, which is the conversion path, we have three actually steps here: early touch points, mid touch points, and last touch point. Just like the previous section, we have the attribution model. If you change it, this report will change. But based on what we have here, we can see that which channel will actually help us in which step of the funnel, or which step of user journey. For example, a user first will search something and will see us in organic search. Next time he will get maybe an email, or maybe he sees us in social. And lastly, because he is or she is already familiar with us, and she or he knows the URL of our website, he will or she will directly come to our website, and then conversion will happen. We have the conversion path over here. For example, 4 times in referral, conversion happened 27 times. So it depends of what business you have and what you're doing. It could be much more different. So this is it for the advertising section. Let's go to last section, which is admin section. Last but certainly not least, we have the admin section. In admin section, we have the account area and property area. We don't have view like we had in Universal, but we had something called data stream, which we'll talk about it. And right now we will talk about account section. And be aware that we have this admin and user, which you can have different set of data. So let's head back to admin. In account setting, you have the account name, account ID, country of business, and set of things that you may or may not check. And you can check or uncheck any of these options right over here. There is enough explanation for each of them. Next, we have account access management. You can give access to others, and in order to be more familiar with this section, let's check out this document over here. There are 2, 4, 5 actually role here: administrator, editor, marketer, analyst, and viewer. And you can see what the type of access they have in each role. For example, administrator have the full control of analytics, can manage users, and can grant full permission to any user, including themselves, for any account or property for which they have this role. But for example, an editor has the full control of setting at the property level, but cannot manage user. So make sure to read out this document before you grant access to any user. And we have all the filter over here, which mostly is filter from universal version that you actually brought it in GA4. And we have the account and change history while it's loading. Alright, let's come back here, see what if why is not loading. I have no idea. Anyway, this is account change history right over here. You can see the change history that you had on your account. You have the trash can right over here. Let's get back to all the filter. Yeah, it's working right now. And this is it. So if you want to create an account, and you know that we have the account right over here and property right over here. So this is the account area. You can create an account if you want to another account based on the same Gmail, and you can follow the steps. You don't want to do that right now. You can create property for this account right here. If you click on it, you can create a property and you can follow the steps. If you don't have any idea how to set up a new account, it's quite similar. It's actually 100% similar to when you set up your GA4 first. So if you want to check out it again, you can see the video that I made for GA4 setup. You can find it in Google Analytics playlist. And we have the setup assistant, which is quite actually for setting up your universal things to GA4 and migration, plus some extra stuff you can do here. For example, you can turn on Google Signal, and it's already on in this account. For example, let's click on it to show you that. It has enough an explanation here. You can read it on, and there's nothing actually complicated over here. If you read these steps and advanced setup also, you can work with it. Don't worry about it. It's so easy to work with. We have the property setting, the name of property, industry, category, and those things. You can move the property. You can delete the property. So all those sort of things. We have the same thing as we talked about it in manage actually accesses in property too. So you can grant access to property only, not the account. This is where you can do that. We have the data stream, which is quite important thing here. If you click on it, we have a bunch of things here. We have the stream name, stream URL, stream ID, measurement ID. If you click on it, you can change it. Furthermore, we have the enhanced measurement events. I have a video on GA4 events. Make sure to watch that out because I already explained all type of events. So if you click on the gear here, you can see all the enhanced measurement events. You can check what they are measuring, and you can modify events, create custom events, and use the API of measurement protocol. Right here, we have configure tag setting, manage connected sites, and view tag instructions. This one right over here has more options. Let's check it out. All right. Okay. We have three sections here: configuration, history, and admin. We are in configuration right now, and let's show all. We can manage automatic event detection, configure your domain, allow user provided data capabilities, collect universal analytics event, define internal traffic, list unwanted referral, adjust session timeout, which you can change the engaged session time, which is 10 seconds, and you can change it until 60 seconds, and you can change the session itself, and you can override cookie setting. Over here we have the history of what we done here, and we have the admin, which we can do bunch of stuff here. You can check it out. All right, so in here we have a list of events, and you can modify or create event right over here. We have the conversion, list of conversion here. We have list of audience here, or you can create new audience here, new audience, and or you can use suggested audience. We have custom definitions, which you can create new and custom dimension based on parameter of events. We have data setting, data collection things right over here, data retention. You can change the setting. We have the data filter for like internal filter and so on. We have the channel grouping. You can define a new channel, like create a condition. Based on this condition, you can create a new channel. We can import data, reporting identity over here, blended or observed, if you want to GA to use model data or not. We have the attribution setting right over here. Make sure to read all these. You have the property change history and data deletion request and debug view. So debug view is usually active when you're in debug mode of GTM or Google Tag Manager, or you can set the settings in GTM to allow all the user be in debug mode. There are these products over here that you can connect it to actually GA4. All right, so this is all for GA4 dashboard until now. That usually Google Analytics make changes in dashboard a lot and frequently, but the core idea of what you can find the data in which reports will be same most of the time. So I hope you liked this video, and my purpose was in this video to let you work better with GA4 and to get more familiar with it. And in case you have any question or you want a specific data to find out, you know that where you can find it. All right, make sure to like this video, subscribe in my YouTube channel for many exciting videos will coming up, and thanks, and thank you.